So, chapter 385 is out. Got to talk about it. Um, in the future, I'm gonna try to get these videos out the day they come out on Friday, but I wasn't able to get that done now. But anyway, so 385. Not a whole lot happened in this chapter. It was mostly just dialogue. People just kind of learning more about like how people feel about each other and what they think is gonna happen next or whatever. You know, but so some of the things I want to talk about is Madame Astria. I think that's how you say her name, or Astera, one of the two. But it's really interesting her whole thought process when it comes to Arthur and like what she thinks should be happening next. Her whole view on the war, the betrayal of the dwarves and stuff like that. And obviously, she still has some very negative feeling towards them because obviously they were the first ones to portray um, the Caven. So I mean, but it's not even just the Gladers did too. They both worked together to sell out Arthur and give him to Agrona. So they they both are to blame for it, but she holds more hostility towards the dwarves for it. But like Arthur said in this chapter, like they still respect each other. The dwarves still, even though they might not agree on certain things, they still respect each other. So that's cool. But but yeah, it was kind of interesting how she talked about Arthur, like how kind of like he's just like a weapon or like a tool. Like oh, we just can unleash him, and then we'll take him over, and it'd be done in a day. I'm just like, oh, okay, so that's kind of how she thinks about Arthur. So that's interesting. Um, so Micah, here's what's really interesting, right? So Micah, she's not referring to herself in the third person anymore. I don't know why. What changed? What her thought process was, but she's started to change and not saying Micah. Micah feels this or Micah thinks that. She's actually starting to refer to her person or refer to herself not in the third person anymore. So I think that that's a cool development. I'm kind of interested in like more like how she thinks because we know that she's still she kind of feels sorry for the dwarves, that they've been manipulated, been fed a bunch of propaganda, been lied to, and just taken advantage of, and she feels as though they're not going to fall victim to that same stuff anymore. So she has a lot of trust in them. Obviously, Arthur does, and then Byron he agrees with the Lancers. He says that if Arthur and Micah thinks that the dwarves can help and that they're good, then he's going to agree with them. So that's cool. What we also did was so here I didn't expect this, but Arthur gave Tassi's spear to Byron and said that hey, take this. It's an incredible weapon. Just holding it, just making you stronger. And obviously Byron he was hesitant to take it, obviously because of the people that were killed and Aya was killed using the spear, and so it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense for him to be hesitant about it. I was kind of like, I don't know, just like the spear killing people. I don't know if that's really that good of an idea, but it makes sense. Whatever you need to do to get stronger. I'm wondering if, the relics, not the relics, but like the artifacts that they got from Kessis, the three artifacts that's going to empower the Lancers and other strong people and make them be a whole lot stronger so they can be a force to be reckoned with against like the Scythes and other stronger enemies. I wonder if there's anything that Arthur can do to maybe like kind of take control of the artifact or something to kind of like maybe can release some of the the control aspect that will give because the whole point that Renia was talking about was that if they use those weapons, they're going to become servants to um Kessis and the Indrath clan, right? And so they didn't want to do that. They'll be destroying the world that they're trying to protect, and it won't be nothing left. And Kessis is completely fine with that because he can rebuild it up, from the ground up. And so I wonder if there's anything Arthur can do about those the artifacts. If there's anything he can do to kind of like maybe um not have it be like have them be in control of of Kessis. So I'm really interested if they're gonna talk about that at all. But Virian's kind of just out of the picture this chapter. He's like off doing whatever else. I don't know. It's really I don't know. You really feel bad for Virian, because he kind of lost everything. He lost his kid. They betrayed the country or the continent. They betrayed him, for Tessia. Lost his wife, uh, lost Tessia, his granddaughter that he really loved and cared about. She's taken over by a completely different person now. She don't even have control of her body anymore. And then he thought he lost Arthur too, and then he lose Rhaenyra. So he's like he's lost everything. So it's just like his son betrayed him, and just like it's just he's lost a lot. So I feel bad for him, but he's just out of the picture this chapter. Um, what else? The people are kind of like going through trying to collect their things. Arthur's kind of like looking at him, and he feels sorry for him about he wish he can like heal their wounds and give them hope again, but they've just lost everything. And Helen points out they lost everything twice, and it's true. Because think about it, the elves lost their home, and then the humans they lost their city, they lost their town. It's either serve the Alacrians or just get killed at that point. So they lost them, and then they come and they make a actual home in a sanctuary, and then Tassi comes in there and he messes everything up. So they buildings and stuff, different pictures, different things. That's all just kind of blown up and just messed up in the sanctuary. So they lost all that too. So it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. But another thing too is Arthur and Ellie finally shared a moment. They kind of got back to the whole brother and sister thing. Him kind of teasing her sticking her tongue out, making fun and stuff like that. So that's happy. That's good to see. That they kind of like, still can kind of go back to like being normal. At least a little bit. Here's what's also really interesting, right? So Regis, why is Regis being so nice to Alice? Arthur's surprised by it. I'm surprised by it. I'm pretty sure other people are surprised by it. And we know how he felt about with Kara, right? He thought she was attractive, blah, 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 right? But he never mentioned anything about, Alice's attractiveness, her boob size, or anything like that, right? That's what he likes. He's just being nice to her. She's about to collapse. Like, nope, ride on top of me. You can ride on me and stuff. And then takes her back when she needs help with the healing, the sick people and stuff like that. So I'm wondering why. Maybe he got a little bit closer to her doing all like the healing that they had did together. Maybe. So that's kind of interesting. Like he's not even talking crap. Like nothing. He was telling Ellie stories about with the whole centipede thing, and just that's kind of funny. But him getting like coming out the backside of the centipede, so it's kind of funny. But yeah. So I guess we just skip to the part where they decide to go to the doors and the tunnels, and it's really weird. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me because unless they're going there just to get the help from the dwarves, right? Like they want to use like have them be part of the army and help out with the fight. Because they got to face against the guys, they got to face against the Grona, they got to face against the Sives and all that other stuff, right? I really want to know where Sife's Sarah's is at. I really want to know what she's doing. Like, is she with Kara? I don't know. We just gotta wait and find out. But I don't know why they're going down there. So unless they're like recruiting them to help out with the war, like they can't set up camp there and have that be their headquarters. Like, here's the problems I see with that. It is in a tunnel. That's a bad thing for one. Any type of battling happens, they get invaded or whatever. With how strong the Lancers are, with how strong Arthur is, and how strong the Sipes are, because they shouldn't have a problem taking up any retainers. They're going to collapse the entire cave system. So that's just not smart. So they couldn't be staying there. And also, they're still in an area where they are like easily accessible. Like a Grona can easily just send a couple Sives there and just start messing all their stuff up. So I don't know. It's really I don't really know what they have to gain by going down there. To me, it makes more sense for him to collect them, recruit them, and have them use the portal to go to some safe place in the Relictums. Like that's just what makes the most sense to me. But I don't know. We'll see. But I guess the last part that just happens is the Lacrians come there, they're firing all their spells, and so Arthur he goes and just steps in. He's just like, nope, hold up. I got this. And he lets them just bombard him with just all types of spells. He's just taking it, just taking all the spells and, healing his body and stuff like that. And, he just getting bombarded. And it's just so, I wonder what the other Lancers are going to feel about the fact that he has so much, he's given, he's showing them a lot of mercy. He's showing the Alacrians a lot of mercy because he's empathetic with them, because he understands that, like, they're just listening to the people in charge. They're just following orders, even though it's not really an excuse, but they're following orders, right? So he has sympathy for him. And so he just let them just bombard him with spells. And he's just like, listen, you can leave. You don't have to stay here and die, so it's kind of up to you with what you want to do. And I wonder if the other Lancers are going to, like, feel some type of way about that. Maybe they're not going to agree with him. Maybe they're going to have an argument. Like, why didn't you just kill him, crush him? They destroyed everything, blah, blah, blah. And I wonder if you have to have a conversation with them. Because we know that Micah, when they first went to the underground tunnels, the Lacrians that was there, she just completely just killed him with the gravity. Like, she just squashed him. There's no big deal. Arthur's not doing that. He's leaving it up to them. He's like, hey, you don't have to fight me and die. Like, you can leave, And I think that ultimately, like, if we remember what Cypheris has said, she wants to use Arthur as like a pillar. He wants to be like somebody that they can look up to, like to represent the lessers, right? And so she wants to use him in that sense. That's my air going on, by the way. But she wants to use him in that sense, and so maybe that's what he's setting up to be. Like, hey, he's not just a killer just trying to kill all of us. Like, hey, that guy, he's super powerful, but he didn't just try to kill us. He actually let us go, and he was merciful. So I think that that's kind of setting up really good for that, for him to be like idolized, because we already know that with everything that happened during the what was it called? The fight with Cadell and with Nico, and everybody watching it. We know that, like, he's like in a different, he's like on a different level now, as far as like how the regular people look at him. They're just like, oh, this dude, he's fighting with the guys, he's fighting with the sovereigns. Like, this dude is crazy. So he was just our teacher just 5 minutes ago, so it's just like, I think he's setting himself up to be, to use the Alacrians to help in the war. So yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense. So I'm wondering, like, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? Like, are the people, the Alacrians that's in the tunnel that bombarded him with the spells, are they gonna just run away and leave? Are some of them gonna fight and get killed? I would think that they would run away. They realize, like, okay, we can't mess with this dude. He's giving us a chance to leave. Let's swallow our pride and let's get out of here and live to fight another day. Thing is that if they do decide to do that, are the other Lances, Micah, Byron, Viray, are they going to allow them to just leave? Are they going to get into an argument or a confrontation with Arthur because they disagree? So I'm really wondering what's going to happen with that. I'm really wondering where they're going to go. Like, I don't think the tunnels and being in the caves is a good idea. You want to go to a place that they can't be easily reached, and the Relictums is just the best choice. The gods can't come there. Anybody who is dragon blooded, they can't get there. Kessis can't get there. Grona can't get there. So that just makes the most sense to me. So, but anyway, this chapter, like I said, not a whole lot happened. They pretty much just left from the sanctuary and went to the caves and got attacked. That's pretty much in a sense what happened. So not a whole lot happened in this chapter. So it's not one of my most favorite chapters, but it was a good, like, it's kind of like, it's kind of just progressing the story a little bit. Not a whole lot of progression, but just like a little bit. So so in that sense, I'll give it like a 7.5 out of 10. I'm really just, I just really want to see what's going to happen next, but like, where are they actually going to go? Are they going to feel the same way that Arthur feels when it comes to, like, his sympathy towards the Alacrians? So, but yeah, we'll see. But I'm going to try to drop out another video on Friday for the next chapter, 386. Hopefully I can get that out on Friday. But until then, I'll talk to you next time. Peace.